Okay, so today's topic, I'll be very quick, Uma. I think I only have like 5 to 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Breaking barriers, empowering women in tech. That's all I know. I'm a woman in tech for the last couple of decades. I'm currently a principal group manager at Microsoft Azure. I've been in Azure for the last 10 years of my career. First of all, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two kids. I'm a technologist, I'm a manager, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a healthcare volunteer. So those are some of the things that I do in my life at the moment. Um, I just wanted to share with you guys a quick bio with pictures. I think pictures speak a lot. So topmost left, that's my family. It's a very old picture of mine, but my kids are much slightly older, 16 and 12. We do have a dog, so I guess I do have a third kid. So I over the years, I think I found I think my calling has always been tech. I have to say that, but over the years, I think I have just kind of developed multiple interests, um, including giving back to the community is super important to me, and you can kind of see in some of those pictures, like me volunteering at a gala or volunteering at the UW Women's Center. Everything is centered around women or minority and things like that. I think that gives me a lot of gratitude in life. And also volunteering at, like, I'm a huge animal I mean, I love animals. If I wish I could live with them all day, all night, I think that would be a great dream come true for me. I volunteer at the pet adoption shelters whenever I get a chance. UW Medicine, so I volunteer because I think that's one of the things I've always loved. Again, giving back and being there for someone that who's in need. So I do volunteer at the emergency department, and I think it also keeps me grounded and gives me a perspective on, not everything is glorious. The reality is very different than where we are, right? Sometimes. Again, hope link, those are some of the things. And I'm also a very avid cardio person, so I think Zumba, anything. I know I think one of you guys mentioned about another bachata or some dance. I'd love to see what that is about as well at some point in my life. And one of the favorite quotes that I want to share, and given that this is Women's History Month, this is one of my favorite, that Oprah is like, think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. I think it's one of my really, really favorites, and I keep reminding myself about it all times. So that's kind of a little bit about me. And I just wanted to share with you guys my tech journey. I think my tech journey really began about 25 years ago, when I first took my high school class. One of the classes was about computer science. I think back in the day, it was like, if folks are familiar with it, it's BASIC and Pascal and some of those things. So that's my first class that I took in my high school, and I didn't realize that I was going to go into computer science. I was, for the very long time, I was thinking about life sciences or natural sciences. I think that was my thing. I really thought that was my calling until I started taking my computer science class. And that kind of made me realize that, hey, I'm also good at this, and I'm going to go and try this out, for a living. So that's when I went to Kansas State for my bachelor's degree, and that's when I did my computer science and engineering degree. And throughout my career, like, again, I've had internships at multiple places. And right after I graduated with my path, and I think I have to say it's a very traditional path for me coming into tech. A lot of people that I meet over time, I think they've changed paths and moved around. And for me, I didn't know any different or better. Ended up in Microsoft in 2006, 2007. So it's been about 18 years since then. I've been in multiple different places. I think within Microsoft, and I think before we started this session, I told Rukmani, hey, you've gone around a lot outside of Microsoft. I'm still here. And I think she reminded me that, hey, you've moved around quite a bit within Microsoft. So that's kind of walking through my journey. I was a developer before because, like I said, I get a computer science and engineering degree, and what am I supposed to do? Go code, right? So that's what I did. But I think 10 years into my career, I was like, hey, I need to go kind of build vision. It also kind of aligned with my own growth as a human being. I want to see bigger picture. What does that mean? What does the customer want? Rather than just siloed into building code. So that's when I moved to being a product management, and all of that kind of. Today, I'm still a product manager. I manage a team of about 15 people. I think that's where I'm at today. So I think throughout the one thing that's common throughout my tech career, and then this started again 20 to 25 years ago, is no one thought I could do it, including some of the family members of mine. They didn't think I could make it in tech because it's male dominant, and not many of my family have been in tech, and that's one of the reasons where like, oh, and I'm surprised you made it, right? So I think I just felt like people never believed in you, and that's when it kind of becomes like you need to believe in yourself, right? You want to go after what you really want. So my challenges, as many of you might have experienced, is like, lack of representation. And this has been a grassroots problem, especially in the US. And, I was one of the two girls that graduated with a CSE degree. And while there were 100 boys with me, walking through that line, the graduation line. But today we've come a long way from that. I feel like, today I manage a team of 15 and half of them are women. Amazing, amazing, right? I mean, I didn't know I'll be surrounded by so many women. So I think I was looking up some statistics before I got to this. And I think women, I believe, hold about like 14% of software engineering positions, and that's pretty low. And about 25% of leadership positions in tech. That's also pretty low, but it's big. It's more than what I've seen in the past. So I think to Parna's point of, we need to celebrate small moments. I think I do want to take a moment and celebrate that a little bit, that we've come somewhere, but we still have a long way to go. And fighting stereotypes, I think there's just a lot of unconscious bias in the workplace, right? Especially, I'm not saying this might be only for tech, but it might be wherever you are a minority. I think there's definitely a lot that comes on you where you might feel like you're less included because the men can go and get some coffee or go play something somewhere, and they have a work conversation, and then you're not part of that conversation, right? Simple things like that. But I think it's very good to, again, another thing is the companies like Microsoft, they've provided a platform now where it's been very helpful. There's a lot of equity and D&I efforts that's going on, and it's been a lot of in order to promote diversity and inclusion. It really helps with some of these aspects. I think the third challenge I'm talking about here is like being the only woman in the room, and that happened to me, I think, probably starting from my tech journey in Kansas State till probably about 6-7 years ago in my career. And it can be very daunting being the only woman in the room or the floor or the wing of your building. I remember my first role at Microsoft in Windows. I was the only girl in that entire row. It was kind of like, oh, okay. And then oftentimes, and you get misunderstood for an admin. So people would come to me and ask, hey, can I get the supply or the other supply or whatnot, right? And that was my first couple of years of experience at Microsoft. And lastly, taken for granted too. Like, I think being a woman in the male-dominated field, you can feel that you're often taken for granted with microaggressions. In my case, as you said, as I was saying, we're being an admin. I've been asked to take notes in meetings, things like that. So I think the important thing is this thing keeps happening. And at some point in my life, I realized, hey, if this is what my life's going to be, I need to change my attitude towards how I cope with some of these microaggressions and the stereotypes. And how do I not care about it? How do I not feel bad? Like, it's the first time one guy came and asked me, hey, can you give me supplies? I was so offended by it. Now I will just point them to the real admin. That's the best thing that I can do. No other feelings in me, right? So, and some of these things I realized why I became more strong is because of the support system around me. Even if one person is having stereotypes with me or whatever, like there are 10 other people that are willing to support me, and that's what I started recognizing, right? More and more, like, okay, there's like 5 other people that will support me and back me up in this meeting. Let me go build that support system, and kind of go from there. So that's one of the ways that I coped with the whole situation. Just sharing some of my learnings here is, I think throughout, like I said, even my family didn't believe in me that I could go into tech. They thought, that's going to be difficult for me. to go and get my stuff. I think my biggest motto here is do what you love what you do. I think I truly, truly believe in it. If you see my first slide, I'm doing everything I love. I love what I'm doing today here too. And this is why it kind of integrates well with my schedule, with my life. It's not a pain to me to be here today or do anything else that I'm trying to do. So no matter what you pick, just make sure you're very passionate about it so it'll actually allow you to get through your day, get through your rainy days more quicker. Create your own opportunities, right? Opportunities, I think some people think that opportunities are defined by being in the right place at the right time. I don't think so, right? Like, even though there is certainly a bit of fatalism in everything in life, I firmly believe opportunities are created, and that door opens for you and for me, right? And not by any chance. So that's the second learning for me at all times. And third one is embracing failures, especially women. And I was this a long time ago. Failures, taking risks and failures was not my thing. I would never go, not even a smallest risk I would take. But over time I've realized, and failure and learning from that failure is super important. It's a success in itself. So it's part of the journey. Keep believing in yourself. Don't let yourself down, because the others are trying to let you down. So don't let yourself down, right? That's one thing. Fourth one is find your own voice. And you have to know exactly what you think is important, what you value to stand for, in order to keep your own vision and not be biased by the group. To me, finding that own voice meant which things I didn't want to compromise, right? So that one was super important to me. Like, there are things that I can let go. There are things that I will not be able to let go. So I'm going to, be vocal about it. Lastly, be the role model that you wish you had. I think that's something that I follow very, very much, because I've had I'll tell you an example. I've had good managers, not so good managers. I've had 16 managers in my career of 18 years at Microsoft. Half of them were good, half of them were not. So you kind of learn from that experience too, where like, hey, when I do become a manager, then I should, these are the ways that these people treated me. I don't want to treat my directs the same way. So I think that's the thing, you want to kind of build that role model, that for yourself, right? In this case, for example, like, make other women feel that they're not alone. And this is exactly what we're doing here today, right? And show that there is another way to lead. And it's in our power to make one another's better, right? So I think those are my learnings. Hopefully it's a takeaway for you. Hopefully some of you can resonate with these and then apply in your lives. I think my parting thought here is, things can be tough out there, no matter where you are, but so are you. Keep that in mind. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. You guys are strong. Happy Women's Day and happy International Women's Month.